welcome here to TalkFCB and welcome to yet another day of big news on the Barca front. We've had new signings on Monday, on Tuesday and indeed on Wednesday, but today it's more about what's happening outside of the field. We've got big news on Ronald Koeman, who is staying as the Barcelona coach for at least one more season, and we also have the arrival of Jordi Cruyff. And with Koeman continuing as well, could we see Memphis at the club soon? It is all coming up. Let's get to it now. Come on. And before we do indeed move on to Koeman and Memphis, let's start here with the arrival there and the return to the club of Jordi Cruyff, who today indeed was confirmed. He was basically today's signing because the club confirmed that he will join the football area of the club and form part of the new organisational structure from the 1st of August. He's going to be joining there in a strategic role at Barcelona, where he's basically going to act as an advisor to the board of directors. And of course, Jordi Cruyff, you won't have failed to have noticed there, is the son of the legendary Johan Cruyff, and Jordi himself returns to the club that he played for 8 years of his professional career, and he was right here up until 1996, and he was so happy today to be back at the club. He said, I left the club 25 years ago, and to come back now, he said, it feels as though I'm coming home. We've had a lot of that this week, haven't we? Players feeling very emotional about making that next step and coming to Barcelona. He said, my motivation is enormous. This is a club that's very special for me and of course my family. He said, it gives me immense pride to be here and I'm very grateful. And like I say, August the 1st there, Jordi Cruyff will get started in his new role, and you can see there the pictures. Laporta very happy to be welcoming him to his board. But if we do now move on to the big news of the day, and we kind of anticipated this coming over the past few days now, it has been getting closer and closer there. We were wondering what was going to be happening in terms of the coaching role next season, but now it has been confirmed that Ronald Koeman will not be sacked this summer. Indeed, he will stay at the club for at least one more season. And fair play to him, Joan Laporta did come out and face the media himself, something that I don't really feel that Bartomeu would have done had this situation unfolded with him. I think he would have lurked there into the shadows and let somebody else do the talking for him, or quite simply said nothing. But credit to Laporta, he said, you know what, we've come to the conclusion that Koeman's continuity, it's the best option right now for Barca. He said, I see him motivated, I see him as excited, and he's got the right mentality to succeed in the coming season. He said, we are convinced that next season will be great for Barca. Koeman is looking forward to getting back to work after his holidays. He also did hold his hands up. Once again, Laporta is not really a man to hide, no matter what the situation, no matter how awkward the situation may have been with Koeman. He said a period of reflection. He said it was needed to draw conclusions. He said, I'm not going to deny that. He said we needed to think about what needed to be done. He said regardless of whether there was a contract, we needed to sit down and analyse things. He said, but I did tell Koeman that if at any time I caused him discomfort or distress, he said I would apologise for that. I do still feel, though, like Laporta was pretty angry, not with Koeman, but with his representatives. We, of course, discussed that on the channel there, in particular his agent, Rob Jansen. He said when we had that first initial meeting, Jansen came to the meeting thinking that we'd already be discussing the contractual issues to potentially get rid of Koeman, but he said that wasn't necessary. All we wanted to do was reflect before anything else. He said, and I'm not going to go in to addressing there the tweets that were made by Koeman's management agency. Laporta, though, did not hide the fact that he still expects the highest possible quality from this Barcelona team, and as we're going to come on to, this does feel as though this is the last chance saloon for Ronald Koeman. He said the decision that has been made here to build a competitive team within the circumstances that we find ourselves in right now. He said Koeman is the coach that we want for next season, but I hope to see a more offensive Barca. I want a winning mindset that pays attention to the details. We've got to press better and be more intense. And I think they're looking at those words from Laporta. I think he is quite apologetic towards Koeman in the way that maybe things played out in the media spotlight. But I also think, as you can see, they're talking about the current circumstance, talking about just for next season only, and then we'll evaluate things. I think the number one problem, really, with sacking Koeman at any time, it was all about that payoff. Barca would have had to pay 13 million to actually sack him this summer, which for us right now in our financial situation, that is huge money. And it's not only the fact there that we would have had to have paid 13 million to get rid of Koeman, but then of course you've got to get a replacement. If you're looking there at somebody like Erik ten Hag at Ajax, I was saying, you know, certainly he was somebody that we could go after, then you would have had to have paid as well to get him out of his contract. So really there, that could have been rising above 15 million to basically change your coach this summer. And to put that into some context, that would have been the same kind of amount there of money that we paid to sign Emerson this summer, and everything we're paying Aguero for the next season simply to change our coach. So I can see there why Laporta had a few doubts in his mind. I think the big problem for him maybe wasn't even the money. I think it was all there about that replacement. I felt like very early on, he felt as though it was too soon for Xavi Hernandez. He didn't really want to bring him in prematurely. He didn't want to ruin that chance of Xavi making it as the Barca coach by doing it too soon in his coaching career. And I think Koeman right now, ultimately, I don't really like to say it, but I think he's seen as a bit of a safe option. We know what we're going to get roughly from Koeman. There is, of course, the chance now that we may see some improvement. And what Laporta has done here, he just said, you know what, I'm not going to take a big risk. What we're going to do this summer, given the financial situation, given the mess, and let's not forget here, the mess that he inherited from Bartomeu, he's still cleaning that up. We are still trying to get to grips with what we're dealing with, and Koeman, for now, stays at Barca. And I think obviously when you're looking at Ronald Koeman staying at the club, myself personally, as you know, many of us felt the same way, that maybe we needed a bit of a new direction going forward to take that next step. We needed somebody else there to come in and take over from what Ronald Koeman here has started over the past season. Him staying, it isn't, I don't feel, a complete and utter disaster. We did see a few promising things over the course of the season. You can see there the fact that we won the Copa del Rey. We did rack up a number of wins. We did have moments there when we were playing good football, but it's the losses. It is the big game defeats, I feel, that in the next season, he's got to put those right. There are certain things about Koeman's game in terms there of man management, in terms of in-game decision-making, that he simply has to improve. And this is basically last chance saloon for him. He's been given here a second chance. He's been given a true opportunity by Joan Laporta. He should be thankful for that. And ultimately, he knows he must perform now. He must win in those big moments, or it's game over. This is your very last chance, because as you can see, when you're looking at that list there, the names that are there, Luis Enrique, Pep Guardiola, Ernesto Valverde, even Tata Martino, they all rank above Ronald Koeman in terms of points per game. Quique Setien, of course, didn't get another chance. He didn't get there any more opportunity as the Barcelona coach. Ronald Koeman here has been given that chance. It is over to him. And not only that, but with the signings that he asked for now, as we're going to come on to, he's likely to get Memphis Depay. He's likely to get Georginio Wijnaldum. We have strengthened the squad, brought in the players that he said that he needed, and it's like Laporta now is saying, you know what, I've given you everything. What you wanted, you've got. Now go out there and deliver. And speaking indeed of Koeman's countryman Memphis Depay, he was somebody last night who put in an excellent performance for the Netherlands against Scotland. It was only a friendly game, and indeed the Netherlands were not good at all, but one player that was certainly was Memphis Depay there, scoring twice on the day. One of those was an absolutely sumptuous free kick, and the other goal there was assisted by none other than Wijnaldum himself, who's another player who could well be on his way to join Koeman at Barca. But on Depay, I just want to clear up here, the club want to wrap up this deal as soon as we possibly can. I think we want to try and do it there before the Euros start. We don't really want to get into the Euros, see Depay ripping it up, and suddenly then you've got many other clubs in the mix for his signature. We want to do this now. There is a 2 to 3 year contract being put on the table. Once again, the wages are manageable. They're nothing extreme. They're nothing that we can't afford. That is on the table right now, and the club are very confident of getting the deal done, because obviously this deal was never 100% dependent on Ronald Koeman. Depay may have even signed without Koeman being here, but I think now that Koeman's staying, now that Depay can see that the man who's wanted him ever since Koeman arrived at Barca, Depay is the forward that he's wanted to bring in, Koeman stays, and Depay could be about to join his former coach. And of course, guys, speaking of international football, there were a number of Barcelona players in action last night, and it was a very good evening in front of goal for both Antoine Griezmann and Ousmane Dembele. Both of those players, they're scoring for France in their friendly win over Wales on Wednesday evening, and it was an absolutely fantastic goal from Griezmann there. Brilliant link-up play that it was, alongside Kylian Mbappe. Gets it into Griezmann. Brilliant goal from outside the area. Griezmann once again showing how important he is to the French national team. game, and I also like the way that after Griezmann scored, he went over to the bench at the time where Dembele was, and they both celebrated together. And of course as well, later on tonight, guys, Lionel Messi returns to the international stage. He's playing not a friendly game, far from it. Argentina have a World Cup qualifying match against Chile. You can already go and watch the match preview for that one. That's going to be there over on MORETALKFCB right now as we speak. And later on tonight, the full match review once the game is over, and hopefully once Messi has shone. And of course now as well, we have another Argentinian to follow. Aguero is with his good friend in Argentina, and of course Copa America is only just around the corner. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, guys, on everything we have discussed in today's video, from Jordi Cruyff to, of course, the continuation of Ronald Koeman. What do you make of it, and how do you feel following that news? I will see you soon, of course, with many more uploads to come as this busy summer period very much continues. But until next time, as always, Visca el Barça!